Eye-opener. What examples does America set these days? As far as one of the most important metrics, education, the United States has moved from being at the top or near the top to being near the bottom. When the number of high school students graduate with a reading level below the 8th grade, it is a bad example because students in America graduate from the 12th grade. Other than the ultra-wealthy, more and more of America's citizens are falling down the class ladder. Anecdotally, I know that the upper class are feeling the pinch that artificial inflation has caused. Well, actually, the offspring of some of my rich friends and acquaintances are feeling it. In one example, the kids of some of my rich friends are considering moving out of New York City because it is just too expensive. The problem is that they don't want to move anywhere that offers less than the Big Apple offers. New York has a lot of things to do, all of the time, while the city where these 20-somethings grew up does not. If you're wondering where this less than exciting city is, it's Miami, Florida. Shocker. I know, because the rumor is that Miami is the sexiest and hottest place to be in the United States. While it still might be the hottest, literally with its humidity, not figuratively, because unless you're rich, there isn't much to do in Miami. Trust me, I've lived here since 1985, and I've seen its decline. And you too can see its decline if you want. It's all over the internet. Just check YouTube for videos of South Beach in the 90s. Average citizens having actual fun cruising Collins Avenue. Still don't believe me? Just go down to South Beach these days. It's a bunch of rich people wasting money on $1 or $2 or $5,000 bottle service for bottles that only cost a couple hundred in the store. It's people pretending to have money while pretending to be having fun while looking for people who actually have money to burn. It's like I say, money coming into anything is good, but too much money ruins everything. South Beach was targeted for gentrification because of the character and the characters of South Beach. It was quirky and unique. The people were flamboyant and spectacular. Now it's a place where people try to be so unique that they all tend to simply be the same character in different outfits. South Beach is where you go to take advantage of other people, a place to suck up to those whose position of influence you'd like to take. I know I sound jaded, but that's only because I am. I remember a South Beach where one could go to dance clubs and listen to the droning electric music played by DJs. The kind of music that has the same beat and tempo at 1 in the morning when you arrive as it does at noon the next afternoon when you head home to your umpteenth lost Sunday. The kind of music that almost demanded ecstasy to not rip your ears off of the side of your head. In my day, I know I'm sounding like an old man here. Yes, there were those types of clubs, but someone visiting South Beach could also find clubs like Washington Square, where one could listen to live music, or places like the Institute, where you might encounter ninjas climbing down the Mad Max Thunderdome structure in the middle of the warehouse-sized facility. Or you might be forced to move out of the way of the Harley-Davidson motorcycles that were allowed to drive through the dance floor. And these weren't even the most exciting things to occur in such establishments. And it wasn't just South Beach. There was the Grove, and even Kendall. Back then, you could go out at 9 and party until 3 in the morning, then head over to Max Club Deuce to run into a more interesting array of characters. And then you could either go to the beach, sleep it off until sunrise to enjoy the next day. There was Calle Ocho, the bed races, Gumbay, the Coconut Grove Art Festival, the Orange Bowl Parade, the King Mango Strut. There were free concerts and concerts for which one had to pay. I went to Lollapalooza the night before Hurricane hit. There were affordable activities every other weekend, and I'm not imagining this because all one need do is look at the best guide ever offered in Miami. The New Times was the only newspaper one needed to find a plethora of fun and things to do. Back in the 80s and 90s, the New Times was about 100 pages long, while today's version of the New Times is only around 10 pages. Unless you're rich, there is not much to do in Miami except work, go home, and do it all again. In my opinion, those elected to lead Miami are charging their constituents for the sun because Miami does not offer much more otherwise. Unless, of course, you're rich. Sorry about such a long discussion about Miami, but I think this is what is occurring in cities big and small across the nation. And while not having amenities of which your residents can partake may sound superfluous, it is an indicator of a city not concerned about its citizens' well-being. As the saying goes, All work and no play. A city that doesn't provide a means for people to unwind doesn't care about its people's level of stress. As for examples set by America, there's the unchecked capitalism that demands the rich be bailed out while the masses suffer. And there are the endless wars that America endlessly loses, the loss of manufacturing and innovation. And while I am certain there are good examples as set by America, it seems that there are fewer as time goes by. There are plenty of people reporting and complaining about our leaders and their failures. How many, however, are offering or even pointing to any solutions? The book, Solutions: Enough Complaining, Let's Fix America by Chris Osman does and can be found on Amazon or at www.mikesonsentertainment.com. To find out other ways you're being screwed by your current leaders, check out the posts on this blog daily. Learn about the biggest and worst issues that America and its people face today. You can also check into this blog daily to hear about those issues that America and its people will face in the near and distant future. If, however, you would like to discover possible solutions to either mitigate the worst impacts of these issues or solutions to avoid them altogether, keep listening. The problems we face are not as complicated as so many leaders and news reports claim. They are man-made and are only claimed as complicated so those who are responsible can maintain control. For example, there is a persistent argument that moving government is like turning a cruise ship around. It is supposedly a long process that can only be achieved incrementally. While this may be true for laws and policies that benefit the majority of Americans, it does not seem to be so for that smallest of American minorities. When one examines the policies and laws that benefit that minority known as the elite or the rich, the speed at which those laws are passed is exponentially faster. While most of us sit on the deck chairs waiting for the Titanic to avoid the myriad of icebergs of which we seem to continually run afoul, the elite ride comfortably in speedboats. If, according to the Declaration of Independence, all men are created equal, why do the rich live quite different lives than the rest of us? Where is our speedboat? In 2018, Chris Osman wrote a book highlighting the problems humanity would face if more power, wealth, and control were funneled to a small group of individuals, groups, or organizations. In that book, Mr. Osman provides solutions offered up from himself and others to the inevitable problems we would all face. In it, he also provided a means for the public to analyze, compare, and contrast the words and deeds of those we've chosen to follow against our real-world experiences. To this end, Mr. Osman provides the means for readers to disseminate information as provided by their news sources of choice, their elected officials, and any other authority they choose to follow. The book, titled Solutions: Enough Complaining, Let's Fix America, offers a means to hold leaders up, not just to a higher standard than is currently accepted, but to one that will improve lives. If it is a bad examples you seek, America couldn't be a better example. Click the link below and get your copy of Solutions today.